Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a very important video for your career. In this video, I will cover how the job market will be in 2023 and whether the recession is going to end or not, and how will be the entire landscape of job market in 2023. So this is a very important video, even though you don't like hearing about money and finances, but I advise you to listen to this video, especially if you're a student or someone in your 20s working for a job, because it includes everything that you need to know. I believe this would add a lot of value to you to take smarter decisions. Like, I want to talk about how the job market will be in 2023. So before that, I need to clarify a few things about recession, and for that I will also take comparisons of stock markets and all. But yeah, if you, even though you don't like listening about them, but I advise you to listen to this video because you need to know this stuff. These days we are heavily talking about recession. In 2022, many of the countries experience a recession, and US is one country which experienced recession a lot. But you won't believe me if I say India hasn't experienced a recession so far. Yes, it is true. We aren't in the recession yet. Maybe in 2023 we might hit by recession, but currently we are not in a recession. You need to believe this fact. But you can ask me, like, then why there is a hiring freeze in many of the MNC companies? Why companies are not hiring freshers or not hiring new people? And what's the reason for mass layoffs everywhere? So the reason is simple. If you can see most of the service-based IT companies in India, like many of the MNCs, mostly they have clients from US and European countries, but not from India. If you can see, like majority, like 80 to 90% of the entire business of MNC companies in India rely on US markets and European markets. See, if the recession is taking place there, ultimately they won't get any projects. So that is a major reason why we are experiencing these layoffs and hiring freezes, but not that India is experiencing a recession. That is something that you need to understand, because like everything has a relation. Like, if in US markets are going down, which means like the market in US is not good, so people are experiencing recession. So they are, the recession is all about economic slowdown. If the global spending goes down, then ultimately we call itself as a recession. So if people in US or people in Europe reduce their spending habits, reduce spending heavily, then ultimately companies will not make profits. Then ultimately we can call that as a recession, because companies start losing the value in stock markets, and that is an indicator. Stock market is something which we can take it as an indicator to see whether we are in a recession or not. The Nifty 50 chart for 2022. So if you can see, the overall growth of Nifty 50 is 5.27. This is a huge number, because even though we are calling recession, even though we are calling like are down everywhere, the stock markets are down, and there is a Russian-Ukraine war going on. So there were many bad things happened this year. So, but still, Indian stock market has experienced a gain of 5.27%. See, this is the yearly chart of Nifty 50, which is an indicator of top 50 stocks in India. So if you can see, in the only in the months of June and July, we have our stock market reduced a lot, and after that it started growing again. So in the beginning days, like we are around, if you can see, around January 1, see we are around 18,055, like we crossed 18,000, and now we are on 18,200 mark. So it is stating clearly that we are going good. Indian stock market and Indian economy is going good. There is no problem with Indian companies. But where is the problem? If you can see, this is the Nasdaq chart. So it is like Nifty 50 in India, but Nasdaq is for US. If you can see the 1 year chart, see, in the beginning, like in January 2022, in the beginning, Nasdaq is around 15,832. I mean, in the beginning of this year 2022, 15,832, and the current value is 10,705. So this is an indicator. It's not that there were many other factors included, but if you can see, it is clear that US has experienced a recession, because like this is a massive fall in terms of indexes. But we experienced growth. If you can compare the Nifty 50, like we have experienced a growth, that is for clear. What can we conclude from this comparison? See, it is simple that US has already experienced a recession, and there were many people who were optimistic about the recession being slowed down in 2023, and US markets and European markets will go up again. When it starts, then ultimately the Indian MNC companies will start hiring people. So the job market would be optimistic. So it is good to be optimistic about the job market in India. But what's the problem here? See, we haven't experienced the recession. So whenever the recession is taking place, mostly every country will get affected. Like these kind of recessions, 2000 recession, 2008 recession, COVID recession, every country gets affected, but we get affected a lot so far. But the chances that we might experience recession in the coming days in 2023, but who will get affected mostly? If you can say, in 2021 and 2022, we see huge number of startups like getting unicorn status. They were getting huge fundings, but you might see the fall in the number of startups that are getting this unicorn status in the next year, because no one is ready to fund startups at these difficult times. And like you might see more startups laying off the people, because they get funding easily on 2021 and 22. When the business is not going, they need to reduce the cost. They need to reduce the business cost, and the primary source of cost cutting is to laying off people. So that is one thing that will happen for sure. So you need to be prepared if you're working for startups. See, make sure, like, understand the business, understand the high level business of your organization, of your company, whether your company is making profits or your company is just depending on I can say on funding and running in losses. So 2023 is something that is a critical year in global market. So India might experience recession, and we're talking about US markets. As I already said, US have already experienced a recession. So I don't think, I mean, it will be more worse than this. So ultimately they start recovering. See, maybe I believe like from the next financial year, which will start from April 2023, the markets will rise and the companies will also start hiring people. So it's good to be optimistic about the global markets. And the other thing is, like, don't just depend on your whatever the work that you're doing. Make sure you learn some demanding skills. Make sure you build some side hustles and passive income sources, because if any unnecessary things happen, if any unavoidable situations happen, then ultimately you will have that, right? So I'll also advise people to build at least 6 month emergency fund, because it's difficult these days to find another job once you are a part of layoffs or something. So it's good to have an emergency fund for 6 months. So save at least 6 months salary, so that you don't have to face trouble during the time where you get laid off, and during the time between switching jobs. And that is something. And also, yeah, as I said, make sure you learn the demanding skills, like it might be video editing, it might be graphic designing, it might be web development. Like these are all some freelancing skills. So even though there were no one hiring for you, you can earn by your own by doing freelancing or other stuff. See, whatever it might be, not like only content writing, video editing, graphic designing, or web development. So these are the skills that people quite commonly use, because they were in huge demand, at least in the freelancing side. But there were many other skills, like whatever you are doing. It might be mobile app development, or if you are someone who is working on AI or machine learning side, you need to make sure you know how to utilize themselves properly. So it's good to have at least two income sources during this decision time. So make sure you build one. And the other advice that I can give to people is, like, be optimistic. Be optimistic and be with patience, because we are in the tough days. Like up to March, the situations will be same. So even though if your company is not giving you joining, hold for 2 to 3 months, because the situations might go worse. So it's good that if you have an offer, make sure you are always in touch with your HR team to get your offer or get yourself onboarded, and make sure you try for multiple things. So be optimistic. That is the only thing that I can say. So these are the things that I believe will happen in 2023. Ultimately, like, the 2023 job market will be good. So that is what I can say. So, but for people who are people who are already placed in companies and not received joining, be optimistic and you will get your joining for sure. So up to March, the situations will be like this, but after March, I believe you will see huge surge in hirings and mass recruitments. So let's hope for the best. And thank you for watching this video. If you like this, and if you want someone else to know about all this stuff that I have spoken, please share this video in network. Also, if you're a new visitor to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.